Hi everyone, Running Otaku here with the results of my Mount Tabor test loop of 3 devices. The Apple Watch 3, Garmin 235, and the Stryd FootPod. Before I get into the results, I just wanted to talk to you a little bit about the concepts of accuracy and precision. So let's go to the graph. Okay, so here are 3 test cases. So let's say we were testing a course that was exactly 1.00 miles. And we got this first set of observations where you could see there's 1, 2, 3, 4 dots over here and 1, 2, 3, 4 dots, which are 4 observations over here. So if you average up all these dots, you would get 1.0, which is what the course actually was. So in that case, you would say that the device that you used for testing was accurate. However, it's pretty clear that you get a clump of dots over here and a clump of dots over here. There's a wide spread. And there's nothing actually right at 1.0. So this is a case where the measurements are not precise. There's a wide spread in terms of standard deviations. The standard deviation is 0.03. So accuracy without precision. So you don't really have confidence that the pace or distance is correct in that case. In the second case, the dots are all clumped together. So that means this device is more precise than the first. However, they're all clumped together around 1.03. So in this case, your confident pace that are usually off by about 3% or so. So this isn't bad. I mean, you can always compensate for that. But the best of both worlds is the bottom graph, where you have both a small kind of clumping of observations, and they all hover around that kind of 1.00. So this is the case where you have both accuracy and precision. And that's exactly what we're looking for in these devices. So if I can work this out. Okay, so the first device tested was the Garmin Forerunner 235. You can see there's 3 different colors here. Green dots mean that the error is less than 1% from the actual. In this case, the loop was 1.622 miles. Yellow dot means that it was within 1 or 2%, and the red dot means it was greater than 2% error. So why did I choose these 3 thresholds? Well, anything less than 1% is really good. I mean, it would be very hard for you to stay on pace within 1%, even if you have the device, right? We're only talking about a few seconds per mile or kilometer, maybe at marathon pace. 1 to 2% is still pretty good. I mean, if you are doing an interval workout or you are doing a race and you want to be within 4 or 5, maybe up to 10 seconds per kilometer or per mile, then this 1 to 2% still probably works for you. Where we start getting into trouble is when the error is greater than 2%, because now you're in the double-digit seconds, which could significantly throw off your effort. If you're really trying to stay right at kind of a threshold pace, you might be overcooked or you just may be underperforming. So I don't like devices that are more than 2% off when I'm doing these kind of very specific interval or race type scenarios. So in this case, the Garmin, as you can see here, there's a wide spread of measurements from as low as 1.54 miles on this course to up to 1.61. The average, you can see, comes right around here, which means it's 96.99% accurate. It's got a pretty wide spread with a standard deviation of 0.0188 miles. So 97% accuracy, actually, in the big scheme of things, isn't that bad in this kind of test loop, because you can see from the video, it's heavily tree covered, lots of undulations, lots of turns. So if you're just doing a normal forest run or trail run and you don't care that much about the exact pace or distance, the Garmin 235 is more than good enough, right? But there are devices that are better, so let's take a look. So next was the Apple Watch 3. Now this really surprised me. Anecdotally, I hear a lot of stories about the Apple Watch not being that accurate. And in fact, actually, I'm doing a second set of tests now on a wide open, kind of flat paved road, which should be much easier for the watch. And it's actually performing worse than what we see here. So it's a little bit hard for me to kind of believe this, although, you know, I ran the numbers. I'm very confident in the testing procedure and measurement procedure, but it just seems too accurate to me. So I'm not quite sure what happened. Maybe it has something to do with Mount Tabor being a volcano, and I maybe get better measurements even with tree cover, top of volcano. I just don't know. But 99.65% accuracy is pretty amazing. I mean, look at the 10 observations. You can see 7 of the 10 were within 1%, and the 3 were just barely outside of that. So pretty clumped together and really close to the actual. So outstanding performance. But again, we'll see how this watch does in other scenarios. But at least in this case, it was really impressive. The Stryd foot pod. So this does not have a GPS. It's got a number of sensors, including a gyroscope, an accelerometer, and a magnometer, or more commonly known as a compass, right? And here you can see the 10 observations. None of them were in the green. They were all 1.64, 1.65, you know, rounded to the nearest hundredth. But look at, everything's clumped, right? It's all within just 2 numbers here. That means that this device is incredibly precise. It's just shifted to the right a couple of tenths of a mile for this test course. Now this was uncalibrated. I just ran kind of with this out of the box to see what it would do. I reran the test with calibration, and calibration is just a linear function, so in theory it should just shift everything to the direction in which it's calibrated. And in fact, that's what happened. When I recalibrated based on my Stryd, I got almost, you know, perfect results here. So 99.81% accuracy and a tiny standard deviation, right? Everything's very clumped together. This too is a little disconcerting, right? This is too good to be true, I would say, but the numbers are the numbers, and this is exactly what I saw. As I was testing, I saw the numbers coming in really, really accurate, so I really tried to fool the foot pod because I didn't want to be accused of being too much of a fanboy. So I ran a couple of the loops actually the morning after a night rain, so there was some mud and some poor traction. I ran at varied pace from 6.5 minutes per mile to 10 minutes per mile at different parts of the course. I tried everything I could to throw it off, and it just didn't work. So I'm in the big scheme of things, this foot pod is amazingly accurate, at least on this test course. Now again, this is not the final say. I will be testing this in the other devices on a long stretch of flat pavement. And then finally, I'm going to put each of these through the torture test of the Otaku Ring. Right? It's about a 10K loop I have through Portland, through downtown, running by buildings that are 20 or 30 stories high in order to throw off the GPS. It goes through tunnels, over bridges, through some technical single track trails, right? All in this 10K loop. So we'll see how that performs. But in summary, for these devices on the Mount Tabor Park, you can see what I've done here. I've plotted the averages, which are the circles. So the Garmin averaged this, the Stryd calibrated averaged that. And then the width of the bars here represent the precision. So what I did was I multiplied the standard deviation by minus 1.96 hair and plus 1.96 hair and added it to the average. And this basically gives us a 95% confidence interval, which essentially means that if you were to run tests over and over, you would expect the average 95% of the time to reside somewhere, in the Garmin's case, in this bar, in the Apple Watch's case, this bar. So the narrower the bar, the more precise, and again, the closer to the dotted line, the more accurate. So I have to say the Stryd, calibrated or not, performed really well. The Apple Watch, again, surprisingly well too. The Garmin, not so good in this test, but again, if you're just looking for an average forest trail run, 97% accurate is probably more than enough for you. So that's about it. Stay tuned for the other tests. And if you like this video, please hit the like button. And better yet, please subscribe to my channel so you can get the latest and greatest on all my upcoming videos. And with that, I'd like to thank you very much, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.